They're sending more and more people to prison now. I practiced law for years, and when I first started practicing, I didn't hardly ever get a prison case, and by the time I left practice, half my people were going to prison. And it's gotten to be almost a rite of passage, like going to college or high school. Okay, and well, I have a mixed race. My youngest child's mixed race, and so my family, frankly, has been mistreated by the police in this county, and I look at the way that these attitudes of the authorities are, and all of a sudden I realize that, you know, my family's in jeopardy, especially and particularly my son. You know, all I can think to do is go out and kick the crap out of anybody I can get my hands on. I don't mean physically. I mean I'll make enough paper to wallpaper your house. You know. And so, you know, newspapers, judges, whatever, anybody who listens to me, I talk to them. That's why I came here tonight.
Well, those are all kind of ways that people can fight back. You know, it's like whether it is writing a letter, making a phone call, flooding them with the emails, all of that stuff. But it's also interesting to see what they did to the some of the animal liberation people who was doing this great campaign against these corporations that torture animals, right? They done made it so that you can't even use the internet to, like, wage a protest anymore. They will put that under the term terrorism and will subject you to being locked up for long term, you know. And these are animal liberation people whose actions haven't killed or hurt anybody. It's more of an idea that they're putting out there that we can create a world where we have re-established a healthy relationship with all living things. Simple. It's almost like ways that folks used to live. They're pretty much saying we can kind of get back to that, you know. But for the government, it's like ain't no profit in that. You know, we're going to mass produce these chickens. We're going to mass produce and kill these cows, and then we're going to give you McDonald's and everything else, you know. But anything that challenges this empire, they are going to be on, and they're going to subject you to consequences, you know. So in this prison industrial complex, we got members of animal liberation, first, you know, anybody that opposes the empire, you know. But when it comes down to our family members and stuff, then it really gets personal, you know. And then sometimes it takes that for some people to see how vast this thing is, how deep this thing is. You know, it has to hit home sometimes like that. But to come together now is almost a way of saying, well, let's prevent that from happening. You know, what ways can we prevent, you know, families and friends and associates and activists who come from traditions of struggle that are just trying to change the world from being subject to next subject of this monster. You know, there's things that we can do, and that is what you do becomes important just on a personal basis. And everything really has to be connected to our personal, very personal lives and the personal decisions we make every day.
What ways could we deter you know, infiltrators from an organization and kind of turning it out against each other? Like, what ways could we I guess send a message to the people to I guess distract or deter them from that path?
That's a real difficult one. I can tell you ways that has not been good in the past. You know, there's evidence of where the FBI would put what they call snitch jackets on activists, and they do it in ways you don't know what's coming from the FBI, you know, but they pretty much have set up another member who's just a good basic member. Now everybody's got suspicion because the paranoia is already in the air, and it will cause some people to do something to this person they think is an agent, an informer, a snitch. And there's cases where people like that die. You know, some people want to take a hard approach, like if someone is an infiltrator, kill them. I tend to think that if we build movements that are really based on, it has a lot of community, it has a lot of love, and community and love definitely doesn't mean we can't be aggressive against systems of oppression. But it means that the challenge is for us to get to know each other, you know, to get to talk with each other more than just the politics, but we begin to see our lives for real. We get to really create community in the sense that we're almost like family. It lessens the ability of infiltrators to come in, because usually infiltrators will never let you know their background. You know, they'll never let you know who they are. You don't see them a lot of times. You wonder, well, where are they at? You know, where you creating community, you tend to see each other. You know, so for me, I think one of the lessons for me was that is that in the '60s, I guess because we felt revolution was like right around the corner, we was putting so much in it, we didn't create a lot of solid community like that. We didn't really get to know each other. And then we had these examples of other struggles where we thought it meant that you had to be cold, hardcore, don't give nobody no slack. Today, I think that the ways that we build now, just like here in New York, here in Arcata, with like Acción Zapatista, who I know, it's like people tend to know each other. You know, in other organizations, you've got to begin to know each other, because the alienation is really the thing that allows the system to put people up in there. Because we really never give each other a chance to know each other. You know, and if you take the Fred Hampton case, it was like the machismo sometimes that comes out in activism. You got a guy that the FBI puts into the organization based on him just talking the most militant shit he could. And the Panthers like, right on, he's one of us. Come on in. Works his way up into security. You know, and at the appropriate time, they developed a plan on how they're going to kill Fred Hampton. He's the one that puts the drug in Fred Hampton's drink. You know, but if folks had took time to know each other, you know, it prevents that kind of infiltration a lot from happening. I don't think there's no foolproof way of doing it, but it definitely prevents it. And it's good for us, because that's the kind of world that we want. We want to know each other, you know. But knowing each other means that we got to put up with a lot of shit too. Because we all come with baggage. You know, relationships are going to happen. People are going to fall in love. There's going to be a lot of sex and stuff. But the thing is that people bring stuff. But it's the whole thing in recreating your life is that it touches every aspect of your life. So revolution happens the moment you really join or you start getting involved. It's really not that thing way down the line, the big cataclysmic change where you overthrow the government. It is our everyday relationship that begins to be challenged in ways you never thought. And folks that infiltrate, they ain't going to deal with that. Or if they do, maybe they'll flip and begin to work for you. I don't know. But key is us getting to know each other. Back to you.
We're talking a lot about resistance and such. I was wondering if you could talk about your thoughts on maybe the differences or the qualities of nonviolent resistance, like maybe as illustrated by Gandhi, versus violent resistance.
I think all forms of one of the things I like about some of the ways that people struggle today is that they make room for different ways of struggling, for people to struggle in the manner that is best determined by them. That if you have diversity, if you have diverse groups, people are not going to deal with the situation all the time the same way. You know, I think that nonviolent resistance, I think in a sense, we haven't even